With all the political uncertainty that's happening in the United States, how is that affecting Canadian real estate? Macroeconomically, we've got a lot of question marks. So let's dive in and see what's happened for the month of March 2025. All right, before we begin, we wanted you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel, like this video, and comment below. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. So let's dive into the numbers, shall we? All right, so March 2025 is a very interesting period of time where we saw tariffs implemented for Canada, Mexico, now then the rest of the world, and then there was a pause, and then anyways, so a lot of uncertainty and a lot of volatility, shall we say? So, when we're looking at some of these numbers, we're going to see some pretty interesting numbers, and we've got a few trends to look at, and it'll be interesting to see how they develop through the next, call it 90 days. All right, so sales volume is unsurprisingly down 23% year over year. So, this isn't surprising, right? We've got a ton of economic uncertainty that's happening, in the marketplace, and when we have the extreme volatility in the stock market, it definitely spills over into the real estate market, because typically I view the stock market as a leading indicator. Typically, the stock market's doing well or it's doing poorly, that has effect on the wealth effect or psyche of potential buyers. So that certainly has an effect. Now, what's a little bit, I don't want to say interesting, is probably not the right word, but fascinating is probably the better word. So we are at this is March, which is typically the start of the spring real estate market. We've got a sales volume of 5,011 sales for the month of March, which is extremely low. Now, we're down 23% relative over we were last March. And guess what? Last March 2024 was the second lowest sales volume on record over the past 23 years. So what does that tell us? It's crickets out there. Literally, the market's on pause. I know I said that last month, and certainly it is even more evident this month. Market is truly on pause. Buyers on the sidelines, and buyers are waiting. With all this uncertainty, we don't know how long this trade war is going to keep going. I know Trump said there was a 90-day, sort of pause on things, but there's been a lot of discussion, things may change quickly, right? And that's certainly what we've been seeing over the last several weeks. But so with sales volumes down, active listings are increasing at unbelievable pace, which is not surprising, right? A lot of uncertainty. There are legitimate sellers out there. The rental market isn't doing great, which is also affecting these numbers. So rents are down. There's certainly lesser demand on the starter or entry level rentals, and that's have a cascading effect on the whole market. So especially condos. Condos are a big rental product. So we're seeing softening there, and that's certainly affecting landlords who are choosing to sell rather than rent. And that's why we're now seeing active listings basically skyrocket. So, what's interesting, when you see volumes down as low as they are and listings as high as they are, these are basically, we're at sales to new listings ratio, which is the absorption rate. So how long it takes to absorb the current inventory. We're at 29% for the month of March, which is way lower than we've seen really over the last, call it 25 years. So typically you'd expect prices to just absolutely plummet, but interesting, that actually hasn't happened. So average price year over year is only down 2.5%. Okay, so that's not a huge drop. But what I find even more interesting is the average price month over month. So we had this uncertainty at the start of February with tariffs, and it really went in full effect in the month of March, and prices are up 0.8%. That's a little bit surprising, right? We're expecting sort of doom and gloom here, and we haven't quite seen it. Now, again, this is 1 month, so we can't extract too much information from this. But one thing that I'm noticing is it's really neighborhood dependent. Like certain products within the Toronto real estate market are doing much better than others. Like for instance, the semi-detached market is really on fire, like fire in relative terms, right? I'm not saying like we're seeing bidding wars and everything, but certainly bidding wars are still out there. Like I was in a bidding war yesterday on behalf of buyers yesterday, like on a actually it was a detached, um, they're still out there. Now, condos are much slower. Condos are really, really quiet. Townhouse market is also quiet, and the detached market is quieter. But for some reason, semi-detached market is a lot more active than any of these other markets. Now, why is that? Um, I think semi-detaches offer an entry-level freehold product within certainly the 416. Like that's where I think there is a more relative strength, like in some of the in-demand neighborhoods that are close to the downtown core are performing better. Now, do I see this happening over the longer term? Like that's certainly what we've seen relative strength over the last couple of years, right? During this softer market is, the entry level products are doing better, and it's allowing an opportunity for first time home buyers to skip condos, right? Like I'm seeing that. I'm having first time home buyers approach me and they're saying, I'm looking at into the freehold market because prices have come down. Semi detaches are providing a more interesting opportunity for first time home buyers. So I'm not saying that's everyone, but certainly anecdotally what I have noticed. Now, what'll be interesting to notice over the next several months is what happens with this trade war. And I know I keep talking about this, but this is really important. Like it's affecting the confidence of buyers, and market is really on pause. Like buyers are on the sidelines, and yes, there are deals out there. Certainly I'm seeing it, and there's some surprising number of sales that we're seeing at relatively, depressed numbers. And again, like that's just certain properties, and maybe they're for sellers, like who knows. But um, there is certainly a softening in the market. Now, what'll happen when this trade discussion is over and like Trump gets what he wants out of the China negotiations? Like who knows, right? Like that could be in 3 months, it could be in 9 months, could be a year. Like I don't know, but I think there will always be this uncertainty as long as this ongoing trade dispute is ongoing. And hopefully, knock on wood, with the elections that are coming up at the end of this month, we'll have a little bit less uncertainty with who our next prime minister is and whether there's a majority government, minority government. Like that'll also impact buyer confidence. But these are all things that we're looking at. So, anyways, interesting times in Toronto real estate, and we're certainly monitoring things as things evolve, and definitely tune in next month because I think April is going to be a fascinating month when it comes to what's happening in the marketplace. And I'm certainly starting to see some interesting trends. Like we're recording this literally halfway through the month, so we'll see if things continue. But anyways, we love the questions, we love the feedback. Please, as I said, subscribe to this channel, and we will see you next month. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.